Hello from Diplomatic Language Services, and welcome to our podcast, Language Matters. We make language accessible to everyday people by discussing features which may not exist in other languages. I'm your host, Molly Sampson. Hello, and welcome to this COVID edition of our podcast. Again, my name's Molly, and we're here today to talk about Somali. So we'll have a lot of interesting discussions with our two Somali experts. So I have Arale with me. Iska warama, Arale. So he's one of our teachers at DLS, and we have our other teacher, Wies. Iska rawama. Oh, and you understood me. Okay, so that's my attempt at saying hello in Somali. So let's start maybe first with Wies. So I know Somali is spoken in Somalia, but can you tell me a little bit about if it's spoken in other countries or kind of where it is mostly spoken and if there's other languages in Somalia?
Somali right now is being spoken in East Africa. Let's say Somalia, Ethiopia, Djibouti, and Kenya. And after Civil War, we can say all over the world.
Minnesota.
North America, Minnesota, Europe, everywhere.
So mostly it's originally from Somalia, but because of the diaspora, especially in Kenya, Ethiopia, and now globally, it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah, no, but I cannot say because of diaspora in Ethiopia and Kenya, because there is a Somali Kenyan.
Okay.
That part of Ethiopia, and also there is Somali Ethiopian, that part of Ethiopia. That speak is Somali also.
Okay. What languages is it related to? So if you had to pick kind of the closest language, what family and relationships does it have with other languages?
We can say Somali is one of the Cushitic languages, which from branch of Afro-Asiatic family.
What other languages are in the family?
Relatives included Afar, Oromo, and Somali.
And I think the Hebrew is coming, or the Semitic, all of them, they come in under Cushitic, Afro-Asiatic, all the way to the Tamashek, all the way to Mali. Yeah, they're a group of this language on Northern Africa and Southern Asia, from Middle East, and the Somali is the one of the really early language that the European colonists tried to conquer. When they came in 1800 and they decide to divide a Somali ethnic in groups, and that is when they realized this language is more than what they expect, and especially in Horn of Africa. That's what I was talking about. Horn of Africa, Djibouti, Ethiopia, Somalia, and Kenya. There is pure Somali ethnic speaking, that part of Ethiopian government, and the whole big region of the Somali West, what they call Eastern Ethiopia, is a Somali region.
Okay, so how about like within Somalia and maybe even kind of these other populations, how different are the dialects or how different are the different variations in the language? Are they mutually understandable or is there some complications?
Yeah, to be honest with you, the Somali language has two distinct regional varieties, like Afmai, that is pronounced Mai.
Mai is the one that you were teaching, correct?
Yes, one time only.
Okay.
Yeah, that and the other one is Mahad. That one, the one that's right now we are teaching, or that's the one that's uses the government. Right now in the constitution, both of them, they are like a official language of Somalia.
Okay, but Mai is a different language, correct? It's not is it a dialect?
No, it's dialect. It's a dialect.
They say dialect, but mostly it's spoken in southern regions. If you take someone from northern, and if you take to like a city of Baidaba, if you say he cannot understand anything.
I see. Arale, can you understand it?
Yes, it is really, when I listen, one of the few surviving Somali academic of language, his name is Mansour. You can write it down and you can check his writing. He's from that area, and then he said when the language have the similarity of more than 40%, they are the same language over the different dialects.
I see.
Less than 40% is totally two different language.
But you can understand it even though it's not your native language.
Absolutely yes, yes. Because what I realize is that my accent, my dialect, they missing the two important letters of Somali standard Somali language, which is X and C. And whenever the word ends with X, they stop before that X, and they pronounce like H. And then the C is the one they are missing. And when I listen closely, like the head in Somali standard, we call madah, and you hear at the end. My people, they say mother, and there are some pure Somali a vocab is for Somali word is that is still in my, because of they are the language originated the Southwest, which is a landlocked, has no influence from Arabic or Swahili or Italian or English. It's pure Somali. And if you read the Somali literature of 1800, 1900, some of the vocabs you can find only in my language. Is Somali standard disappear or change the writing.
I see. So you mentioned it's kind of interesting the influences. What is the biggest influence on the Somali language? Oh, you mentioned Arabic, Swahili, English, Italian,
and French,
and also English.
Which do you think is the biggest influence?
Arabic. Yes, okay. Because of the religion. Every word in the religion, we don't have a Somali language. We follow what the Arabic letters.
Okay. Because of Islam.
Yes.
And also the alphabet is related. All the alphabet is related to Arabic alphabet.
Then tell me a little bit about the writing system. You guys use the same characters we do as English, right?
Latin, yes. Latin system.
Do you use all the letters? Do you use all 26 letters, or do you have some extra letters in there?
Less.
Oh.
They don't have P, and they don't have also Z.
Okay.
And they don't have also V.
Oh, do you have those sounds, or you just don't have those letters?
We have it like a regular B. We use it as a B sometimes. And V as a F, we use it as a F. Z, like we have Somali girl that's called it Zamzam. But when we write like Samsam as a S.
So sometimes you use S instead of Z.
Yes, Zamzam.
So you don't have those sometimes you don't use those voiced ones.
Yes.
Like F is
yes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, that name came from Arabic, and it's called it's a water, like a holy water that we found in Mecca. That's Zamzam, and Somali girls sometimes their name is Zamzam. So, but when you write, you have to write S, since you don't have Z.
So people always call her Samsam.
Yes, Samsam. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the writing system. We talked a lot about dialects too. So let's talk a little bit about.
Let's go to the dialogue also, the dialect again. And even Maha, the language, the official language right now, they have different dialects also.
I see.
Yes, so we can say 20 above, because if you go, wherever you go region, they have their own dialect.
I see.
And Mai also is the same. They have 20 above.
I see. So it's very small groups with very distinct dialects.
Yes. And Aral is, if you can add anything
but
more.
Can you understand each other? I mean, you can understand each other?
I should say accent. And sometimes any Somali who goes from southeast Somali or southeast Somali in a Kenya border all the way to northwest into Djibouti and all the way inside Ethiopia, there is a like the one you said now, is Kawarama. Every Somali knows, every Somali says, but how to say it is a little bit accent of the local people. Is of saying of their tongue. But when it comes the majority of the Somalis, even the speaking Somalis, we understand each other. And especially after the Civil War, they try to put a local accent, more emphasis, since they were making a local government.
I see.
But the standard Somali that you see on the internet, standard My Somali you see the internet or the YouTube, that is the overwhelming Somalis in Ethiopia, in Kenya, in Somali Republic and Djibouti. And that's what you see sometimes, even if you go to Minnesota. But there is accent always. There is always accent.
Yeah. So, okay. Anything else about dialects, or we talk about?
In Somali alphabet, we have long vowel and short vowel, and that is a wonderful that students like that, because Mali, I have to write Molli, not Y, LLI, because Somali I is like ill in America. It's a I. When I need to write like Mali, I have to write double O.
Yeah. It's a longer one.
Yes.
So am I Molly or Molly?
No, you are Mali. You are one O. You are short vowel.
Okay.
But the car, if I want to write car in Somali, it's a K-A-A-R.
I see.
K-A-A-R.
Is that the word for car in Somali?
Yes, and we have a car in different, not the car in English, but we have other name. we have other name for the car.
Oh, what's the other name for car?
Babur.
Oh.
Or there is another one that came from India, cognate, Gari or Gari.
Yes. So that's what we have. When you say Babur in Somali, they expect you to say B-A-A-B-U-U-R.
Okay. Well, now I know Babur. Yeah. Okay. So that's interesting. So we're moving into some interesting things about the language. So we were talking a little bit about how you use pronouns, and instead of using pronouns, you use other grammar. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Awis?
Yes. Okay. So as before, I told you, Somalis, they have what's called a focus marker that English grammar doesn't have it. That's ba and aya. So when you add pronoun, so the end, it changes.
The end of the verb.
No, the end of the verb and also the focus marker. If I want to say, I went to the market, so the focus marker is ba. But when I'm making ba to an I will say suqa ban tagay. You see, I added na. For he, if you want to say he went to the market, you drop the you add W. Suqa bu tagay. You see, he went to the market. For she, you drop the double A and you add I.
So, but the WA you're talking about is part of the verb or it's part of the noun?
No, part of the pronoun, and the conjugation of the verb has to be matched to the pronoun.
Okay, so you drop the pronoun and you use this focus marker, and then you conjugate the verb too.
True, yes. Like for example, I will give you I and she. Suqa ban tagay. You see, the tag is the verb, but right now it ended as a past tense, I.
Okay, so you have to conjugate the past tense to whatever pronoun or whatever subject you're talking about.
It's not only past tense. If it's habitual,
present tense, past tense,
tense. So it has to be matched.
I see.
It's going to be tactile. You see?
Yeah, you have to conjugate always to the subject.
Yes.
Based on gender of the pronoun of the subject, based on plurality of the subject, and based on tense.
Yes. They're mostly I and he is similar conjugation. It's going to be end the same. She and you singular is same. You all, it's going to be different, but similar to the she, but the end is going to be different.
Oh, so it's very, very confusing because it sounds similar, but they really are different meanings.
Yes.
Okay, that's,
Okay.
yeah. I'm glad I don't have to speak Somali very often.
Let's give Aral also what he was going to add.
What I was saying is that what we started with, we have a focus marker, and then if you read the Somali textbook of DLI in the DLS, that's the only Somali in the world that uses that one. He went to market. Instead of saying he, you add you, the focus mark, and the went conjugated according to he, which is totally different. When that focus mark changes to we, and you add a, and u, even the verb conjugation changes. So the Somali language, sometimes when you see the fox, you can finish the conjugation, and if you see the conjugation, you can guess what the focus is, and that is one of the reasons the Somali language is flexible, and you can move the verb and the focus anywhere you want it in the sentence, and the meaning never changes.
I see. So the focus, which kind of tells you what subject it is, can move to the front or the back?
Yes.
It doesn't matter as long as it is before the conjugation of the verb. It doesn't matter.
I see. Okay, sounds confusing, but
also they have what's called grammatical markers that also works like a what's called a pronoun.
Okay.
It's wah, W-A-X. Then you add the pronoun. The same pronoun you add the focus markers, and that's the most time what's used as a like a pronoun.
But why do you need all of those things?
So when you use it like grammatical marker wah, so you have to emphasize more.
I see.
But if you use in focus markers, just simple sentences. There is another one also, it's called wa. That's almost, it's the same as focus marker.
So how flexible are you guys if English speakers make mistakes on all of these things? Does it get very confusing, or can you kind of forgive English speakers when they make mistakes and just use one of these things and mess up the conjugation or something like that?
Yeah, most of my students, what I say is when they make mistake or the conjugation or focus marker, I say, can you check, are you conjugating she or he or they? Then I will say, I'm good. He gonna say like, or she gonna say, I'm conjugating this. Then I say, check your verb conjugation.
Okay, so really, if you make a mistake on one thing, it gets confusing because you just don't know which one they're talking about.
Yes.
Okay, so they all, okay, so
yeah.
You can't cheat your way out of it.
Now, I think this is what I do sometimes, and it's really unique to me. It's not related to anything. I always try to tell the students that number one, a Somali, a sentence, like I say, Ali went to market. As long as you're using the focus and the conjugation according to the focus, you can say market went to Ali, and it never changes in Somali listener. It never changes the Somali listener. That's one of the flexibility of the Somali language, because every word has enough information to deliver the meaning of its intended meaning. And when the students make mistake, I always say, like always, check what you say or what you wrote and tell me in English word by word. And that's when they realize they put wrong conjugation, or they flip something that makes difficult to understand for the listener of Somali or person or Somali student or Somali native. And that's when they go back, and after a few exercises, believe it or not, automatically it comes from their mouth when they know how the focus and the conjugation always go together.
I see.
And no separation.
I see. So it's nice because it's flexible because we can mix up all the words, but as long as we get the right words in the right conjugation, it
Yes.
makes sense.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Molly went to the market. Molly went to market. Molly, it doesn't matter in Somali. Means Molly went to market. That's it.
Okay. So each one has advantage and disadvantages, I guess. So.
Okay.
So I like to end the podcast with a proverb. I think Somali has a lot of deep cultural sayings and proverbs and idioms and things like that. Is there something that you guys like that stands out, a proverb that you like?
Mostly, since we are talking about education, we're going to say one that says, Aqoon la'ani wa iftiin la'an. Means without knowledge is without light.
Okay. Without knowledge is without light. Yeah, I get the feeling.
There is one I like it, and I like the most is the one it says, you never live forever, leave a legacy behind. Whether it's a good or bad, it's up to you, that legacy, but you will leave something behind. That is what the Somali parents always say to their children, means you will never live forever, but leave legacy behind and think about what you're doing.
I see. How do you say it in Somali?
And wari meyside war ha kaa haro. Wari meysid means you never live forever. War ha kaa haro, leave a legacy behind.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Alois, did you have one more they want to share?
Another one I have is it's like mostly a warning that Somalis give each other. For your children, for your friend, it is like a intaadan falin ka fiirso. Means look before you leave or before you do.
I see. So we got the one in English, look before you leave, right? Isn't that English one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Intaadan falin ka fiirso.
Okay, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
There are actually really a lot of the Somali proverbs that have the meaning that's almost the same meaning in English, but literally, it's a little bit different. But you can actually compare to them because every society they have almost the same with a different way.
Yeah.
And also it depends, like the Somalis mostly it's like livestock herders and farmers.
Livestockers?
Yes, livestock herders.
Nomads.
Oh, the herders. Yeah.
And the other one is farmers. Farmers, whenever they do something, or all their like proverbs is depending of their daily life. And also the nomad is also, or livestock herder is always, they apply
they're about the animals and all of those things. Then the farmers talk more about weather and
even songs, all that, it depends there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. Thank you guys very much. How do you say thank you in Somali?
Mahat Sani.
I left this one 4 hours this time.
Mahat Sani?
That's one only.
One good thing, Mali, in Somali language, it's really unique. You just read what you see. There is nothing hidden. If you hear Mahat Sanit and you try to write down now, you hear MAHADSID, Mahat Sanit, and that's true. Means even if you don't know Somali language, but you know how to read, it's easy to read, and the other Somali listeners, he thinks that you know Somali language.
So mostly they confuse the letter C. We Somalis, they pronounce as a A. It came from Arabic, Ain.
C, the letter C as in cat?
Yes.
Oh.
In English, people, they pronounce or they spell like a Ka.
Yeah. Well, Mahat Sani.
Mahat Sanit for only one person. But when you want to combine me and Anale,
okay, say
Mahat Sanidin.
Mahat Sanidin.
You see?
Orale and Alois.
That's the conjugation. At the end, it changes.
Okay, Mahat Sanidin.
Yes.
Orale and Alois.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Language Matters. You can continue this conversation by tweeting us at diplomaticls or find us on Facebook by searching for Diplomatic Language Services.